Welcome everyone to this new video blog. I'm David Broman. I'm a professor working in computer science, and I recently moved to Palo Alto in California. This is really the focal point of technology, especially when it comes to computer science. But the question is, how is it to live here? I mean, how modern is actually the society? So the question if Silicon Valley is modern or not is incorrect, because Silicon Valley is really not a society. So Silicon Valley is often referred to the southern part of the Bay Area. Kind of in the heart of this, we have Palo Alto, where a lot of tech innovations has been coming from. And close to that is Stanford University, and that is also why I live in this area, since I'm right now a visiting professor here for a year. So there are so many fantastic innovations going on here. I mean, there are companies like HP started here. Tesla has its headquarters here. You have Teslas everywhere when you're looking at the streets. We have self-driving taxis. It's kind of interesting and at the same time scary when you see these kind of cars here. This is a car that I saw just driving by. When you look into it, there is no driver. So this is pretty common sight, especially in the San Francisco area. Since so many of the high-tech companies like Google, Facebook, Tesla are operating or have been founded here, you might think that the infrastructure must be really, really good here. But I mean, there are different challenges, I would say, and a little bit surprising. I mean, we have discovered this after living here for basically a half year. So, I mean, there are basically three things related to electricity, to internet connection, and also to transportation. So let's start with electricity. So, I mean, in a modern society, you just assume that you have electricity. But here, we have actually had 3 power outages in a half year, which is really surprising. But it's not surprising if you see how the infrastructure is built. So you basically have power lines hanging all over the place. I mean, this is just one street in southern part of Palo Alto. And this is my backyard. They carved out in the tree so you can have the power lines hanging through the redwood tree. Another thing is related to internet connection. When I'm having meetings walking around in Palo Alto, you get surprised that the coverage is not that good. But it's not good everywhere. I mean, you get problems in many countries. But what might be a little bit more surprising is that there is no fiber. So to get internet here, you're basically using just the cable TV line. I recently got this note or information from Palo Alto Utilities that they are going to now start a project where they are going to dig down some lines, and they're also going to try out some possibility to have fiber, internet fiber into the house. Which is great. I mean, it's kind of interesting. When I was a student in Linköping in Sweden in 1996, I had actually fiber into my room, and that was, I guess, extremely early. But it's still interesting that in a city like Palo Alto, there is no fiber officially. It's also interesting to note that Palo Alto's got several friend cities, and one of them is actually Linköping. Another area is transportation. There's so much innovation going on here, especially in transportation. You have, of course, Tesla that basically changed the way people are, creating cars now with the electrification. So this is really modern, right? But every day when I'm biking to the university, I often have to stop and wait for the train to pass by. And here it comes. So every time the train passes by, they blow the horn, and you have this signal. And this is a diesel engine, so not at all electrified, which is kind of surprising for a modern society. It's really interesting to see the contrasts between the high-tech companies and what they are developing, and kind of the infrastructure that is, let's say, a little bit behind on some levels. But I really think that this is a great area to live in. I will continue to discuss this, the differences between living here and in Europe, but also talk about the latest and greatest development in AI research, in computer science, in education, also in software. So thank you for listening, and I hope to see you soon again.